But if you think yes votes means an immediate influx of cash to that area, think again. It has been more than 7 years since Hurricane Katrina. And in New Orleans, officials are still fighting every day for federal money to repair the city's playgrounds, the water pipes, the sidewalks, even a major downtown auditorium. I want to bring in the New Orleans Mayor, Mitch Landrieu. It's always good to see you. There is outrage from folks over whether or not they're going to get this money from this aid bill. But we know that with Katrina, it took less than 2 weeks to authorize the first of several federal recovery packages, and you were lieutenant governor at the time. But money is slow going. It trickles in, and there's a lot of frustration in New Jersey and New York. Explain what that process is like.
Well, first of all, it's perfectly understandable that our fellow Americans in Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey are frustrated. When you get hit by a major catastrophe like this, and many American citizens lose everything that they have, and you're cold and you're without electricity, you know, the first and the most immediate thing that all Americans lead to is the rescue. But shortly after that, there's this lull, and that's where they are right now, where Congress, you know, starts to think about what the aid package looks like. Our encouragement from the beginning is to get aid there as quickly as you possibly can, so that the governors and the mayors and the county executives can start to plan how to get that money to the ground and how to rebuild the communities either back like they were and better than they were before. And it's been an incredibly frustrating process for them. For those of us that are in the city of New Orleans and Louisiana, we've been trying to help work through that process with them, and we completely support getting aid there much more quickly than Congress has been able to do. I mean, this storm happened actually before Halloween, so we can understand their frustration. It seems like they've gotten back on track now, and the Speaker is committed to a vote tomorrow and then again on the 15th, and I think that's a very encouraging sign.
Even though President Bush and Congress approved the money relatively soon after Katrina, your administration still, 7 years later, is trying to get your hands on some of those federal recovery dollars. Why is that? Right.
Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, the catastrophic event and the damage that is attendant to that is just huge. I mean, for people who have forgotten, we had 500,000 homes that were damaged, over 250,000 that were destroyed. The city was underwater for 3 weeks for over 18 days. Now, the event that occurred in Sandy actually covered more land and more space and more time, and it takes a huge amount of time and effort to make sure that the right amount of money is there and that it gets to the ground quickly. In this particular bill that was shelved the other day that's going to get back on track, we helped craft some authorizing language that helps FEMA break through the bureaucracy and get money to the ground faster. And I'm very hopeful for the Northeast that that language stays in the bill, because it's not as though they write you a check for $61 billion and $9 billion. You have to every day prove that you need it. Then you have to show them where you spent it. Then you have to make sure that they see what you spent it on. And it's a very cumbersome bureaucratic process that those of us that have been on the ground hopes get streamlined over time. It's called the Stafford Act, for people that don't know. It's a very cumbersome process, and we've got to find a way in America to repair things much more quickly than we have in the event of Katrina. And I hope they learn the lessons with Sandy and use this as an opportunity to recraft the Stafford Act to give FEMA and the federal government more tools so that the governors and the county executives can get the money to the ground and to the people much more quickly than we've been able to do here.
Yeah, Mayor, why hasn't that happened already? I just don't understand that. 7 years later, why hasn't it gotten better?
Well, listen, first of all, the recovery process here is now blowing and going. We're getting ready, as you know, to host the Super Bowl. We hosted the Sugar Bowl here last night. We're rebuilding police stations, fire stations. We're really kind of now hit our stride. But the bureaucratic process is really cumbersome. FEMA was never organized to be a recovery agency. It was there to kind of rescue and to respond. And we really in this country have never gotten response to major catastrophic issues, in my opinion, in place. And of course, the rest of the country is going to suffer these things too, because you're either going to have an earthquake, there's going to be a terrorist attack, there's going to be a hurricane, there's going to be a tornado. We have a lot of them. And they seem to be coming with more frequency. So we've got to get better at this. The thing that Congress can do really quickly here is kind of get to the business of getting to New York and New Jersey and Connecticut the funds that the governors and the county executives need to rebuild the lives of these American citizens. It's always been our practice, so we don't leave American citizens behind in time of emergency. And getting money there quickly and having a streamlined process so we can restore Americans to normalcy, which is what they really need, is something that's important. So I can understand the frustration of government Governor Christie and Peter King and Governor Cuomo and Mayor Bloomberg and the entire team, and hopefully Congress is now going to react very quickly. We need to all stand up and help them, much like the rest of the country helped Katrina.
Well, Mayor, we certainly hope that members of Congress are listening to that message today. We appreciate your time. We know that you know about this firsthand, so thanks again. Appreciate it. They witnessed one of the deadly school shootings.